Flyquest just lost 2-0 to the CT or CFO. They lost 2-0 to the Flying Oysters. Okay, I think that the most important thing when we're talking about this is just to kind of talk about why this is so devastating. I mean, 100 Thieves lost in the 1-2 and didn't even come close against TES or against HLE, but like people are happy with them. Flyquest, for the whole year, Flyquest has been like the hope. I think early on people thought, oh, Team Liquid still got it because they made that run at the end of the split one. As soon as it turned into what we kind of came to know the season as, it was the Flyquest year where they were on top in spring and summer. Well, split 2 and split 3, they were just the ones to beat from then on, and they looked really good at times. I mean, think back to the 5-game series they played against BLG at MSI, or I mean just the way they looked most of the summer and most of the spring, where it really felt like, I mean, nobody could even come close to them. And so for them to come to Worlds, and you could just see it the whole time. I don't know what happened, like before or while they were boot camping or while they were training or what, but they were so giga mental boom. It was so obvious from the first game against T1. It just feels like they either don't think they can win or they just expect to lose or something like that. Because I mean, like, the way they're drafting is weird, but I feel like it's emblematic of more problems other than just they're just drafting poorly. Usually poor drafts are results of other things. Well, actually, that's not always the case, but poor drafts can be results of other things. And in this case, I think it was the fact that the solo lanes couldn't keep up. And for the most part, I mean, Masu didn't have the best worlds. I'm trying to think if there was a time where I was really impressed. I mean, he didn't really have a lot of chances to look impressive. If I think back to the T1 game, what did he play? Because, like, if you think about last Worlds, why was Masu so like popular, or like why did he like kind of gain notoriety from it? Well, it's because he was on the things like Kaisa. He was playing not Jin. He was playing not, you know, these lame champs. But come this World Championship, I mean, like, the only thing that they put him on that he really had a chance to do anything was Corki. Every other game, he's straight to Jin duty, straight to, I can't even think of another champion he played at this world championship. I'm trying to look to see if maybe I can find it. He didn't even get the chance. So I'm just like, why is that the case? Because for all of the year, I felt like Masu was really good. Like, I think coming out of last year, I would have said, oh, Masu's got a lot of potential. He's probably one of the better ADCs already in the LCS. And I would have said the only player I think is better is probably Yan. And I mean, I would still say that. Like, I would still say it's Yan at the top and it's Masu right below him. And that's pretty much your top two. But Masu did not get a chance to play the game. And I'm wondering if it's because maybe some of the comments that were made, like some of the comments that Masu made, related, like, I think it was a Sheep Esports, or was it NA Men, that had a quote where he's talking about you gotta keep trusting your teammates and stuff like that, and it was like, oh, that's a little worrisome. That's an emphasis this late into the season, that we gotta be able to trust our teammates. Yeah, so my thought, and I don't know anything, so this could be entirely wrong, my thought is that maybe in scrims they were just not winning on anything but with Masu on like a utility champ, like a Jin, or I know he played some Corki, stuff like that. Like, there might have just not been very many wins on anything else, which that's rough. Maybe it was him, maybe it was the fact that maybe other players aren't getting ahead. I guess the second train of thought is that the way that their solo laners were playing for the most part was just not enough, and they needed to do what they could to help them out, and playing things that weren't as volatile and didn't require as much help would be what they tried to do for the most part, and it's just so rough, dude. I don't know. I'm a little bit of a Masu apologist in this regard, I guess. But yeah, he didn't look great. Regardless of what the reason was, he didn't look great. Inspired looked checked out a lot. So I guess I'll go through the roster. Inspired looked checked out a good bit. Like, there's tons of plays. He's just doing whatever. Like, he's a good player because his doing whatever is still making stuff happen. Even in the last series against CFO, when he runs into the jungle and he's just farming, he gets a sick flank and they end up getting something out of it. And that's kind of felt like what he was doing pretty much the whole Worlds. Is from the moment the game loads in, he's just giga tilted, and already like there's no way we're gonna win this game. And so he's just not even trying, honestly. And that's honestly pretty sad because I think he's really good, and I don't know if he feels like in the game that like immediately his team has a losing mindset and that they're gonna lose because of that, or if he's like the one that's like, oh man, like this thing happened early game, my team can't recover, we're just done. So that was, yeah, Inspired. I can't say he was bad because he wasn't a bad player. For the most part, he's the only reason anything happened. Him and Busio were pretty much the only two players that I have more positives than negatives. He wasn't really, it didn't seem like there was ever a point where he was like doing the same things he was doing in NA, because it just seemed like he was totally checked out, you know. And in NA, I guess he wasn't totally checked out. I really hope he stays in NA. I don't know what it's gonna take. I don't know if Flyquest has to open up the checkbook for Jojo Pyun or something like that. I would love that personally, but we'll talk about roster stuff later. But yeah, it's just so rough, dude. Like, yeah. So okay, and then Busio was the other player that I have a lot of. Busio was so important to this team that he played a Soraka, and they like the game just fell apart because they couldn't rely on him for engages. He was so important, and it's just like, it's great to see that he's so good on the engage. Like on the Alistar, he was a monster. Alistar's been really good the whole tournament. He had that one game where he was forced on the Nautilus because our draft was so bad. I think that was the last game against G2. It just felt like the a lot of the things that he got the chances to do in NA he didn't get the chances to do here. And I think that really comes down to the two solo laners, Quad and Bwipo. Bwipo, I'll say first, he was not like all bad or anything like that. He had his moments. Against T1, he kind of ran it down, but he was close. He was trying to do things. He just got outplayed. So I can't really fault him too much. And it felt like during the, like, they kind of just were like, okay, play Cassante, play Sion, play whatever champ is just gonna be meta, and just go be a top laner. Don't worry about it. And I know it's because of the lane swaps and all that was kind of a big meta part of this Worlds, but it's just crazy. He did not have his best performances. Dokla was better at this tournament by far. And I know that's kind of a weird thing to just be like, oh, well, the situations don't match up. But I mean, honestly, Bwipo had much easier matchups, and he was good sometimes, and he was doing a lot of really dumb stuff other times, and dumb stuff that cost games. So, I mean, going forward, I definitely think he's still at the level where he can compete at like the World's level. It just felt like this tournament, he just didn't, like, the whole team was off. And so Bwipo's style, he talks about trust so much. Like, if you hear him yap on about anything other than period gaming, you might hear him yap about trust, and the trust was not there this Worlds for Flyquest. So that was another thing. And then the big one, the really, really bad one, which was so frustrating to watch. And to Quad, I mean, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I don't want to like pile onto you or anything, but it was just so frustrating to watch Quad play this Worlds. He is so much of a liability in lane against the Eastern laners. Freaking Quid gets solo kills on Faker, and Jojo Pyun's playing well in lane, and you see it's possible. It's possible from an NA player and from one of the players that we have playing for our teams in Quid. But for Quad, it's just like in lane, he's not doing much. He's going even at best. He's falling behind a lot. And then in team fights, oh my gosh, the series against CFO, he was so bad on the Talia. He was running it down. When Faker uses Talia shove, he hits it. It's like a point and click ability. Quad is like a zoning Talia shove. Yeah, it was super frustrating to watch him play this Worlds, because you could just feel, and I mean, there's so much pressure on him to, like, he knows probably that he's kind of being a liability in a lot of the case, and that he's kind of tilting like his teammates out of their minds. So I'm sure there's a lot of pressure, a lot of frustration, like a lot of, like, you know, self-doubt and stuff like that. So I'm not here to try to pile on, but it was just really frustrating. And especially in those last series, he was so dead in those last couple games. Overall, the team just completely fell apart. And it was really sad to see, because this was one of those teams that felt pretty resilient to that. I think it felt because Inspired is usually so consistent, that this team was kind of immune to something like that happening. But I think it was like a mix of all the weird stuff around LTA and finals and the week turnaround and all that like leading into Worlds, and all the Bwipo drama and all that kind of weird stuff. And Inspired seems like he's ready to go back to Europe, so he might have been checked out mentally. Maybe he was just frustrated with the team. I mean, I know they lost Demonte to Shopify, but like, yeah, that's why it felt like this team wouldn't succumb to that fate that so many NA teams do. It felt like they had a rock solid group. And especially, I mean, with Bwipo and with Inspired, you usually get players that no matter how they're playing, they're usually going to keep playing, especially Bwipo. I'll give Bwipo that 100%, is that he could be trolling, but in the next game he'll come out and he'll still do his same thing. It just felt like with the whatever issues were going on, it really affected, I mean, Quad's play especially went down the drain. And then it seemed like it really affected Masu as the tournament went on. And it was really frustrating to see, because, yeah, like I said, the team had so much promise. And this is really the end of like an era, like a small era for the LCS. Because if you think about it, like this goes back to, so it's this year and last year where this like 2-team push of TL and Flyquest and even 100 Thieves to some degree, because they were both Worlds, has really been uplifting NA. It seemed like it was really good for both of the teams. It helped them. It helped TL to do good at MSI, and helped them for the most part both to look pretty decent at the Esports World Cup that year. And then even into Worlds, even though TL started to kind of fall off a little bit, you saw Flyquest really start to assert themselves, and it was like, oh, okay, like this is where the rivalry is going now. It's like Flyquest is going to take it, and now TL is going to have to take it back. So yeah, so after Worlds, when Flyquest looks so good, you're like, whoa, like TL is going to bring back their roster. Oh man, they have so much that they can still do. Fly is going to bring back their roster. Oh man, like what can they do at Worlds? So yeah, so and then coming into this year, it's like it started off the same way you thought it would. Like if I told you that like out of last year, if I told you, hey, this year it's going to be TL wins the first split, Flyquest wins the next two, you'd be like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. Like TL's gonna get their get back, and then Flyquest is gonna come back and they're gonna be super strong heading into Worlds. But I feel like TL falling off was really bad for Flyquest, because it didn't give them that enemy that pushed them to be greater, you know. I think Inspired kind of was talking about how frustrating it is to try to get better in NA because you don't have as much competition. And so I really think they did lack that, because last year TL was really good and pushed a lot of teams internationally, and I mean they beat up on Fnatic like 2 or 3 times, I don't remember. But then, and so it was like a head to head. But then this year it was like that wasn't there. As soon as the first split was over, TL just kind of started falling off and never got it back, and now they're blown up. So yeah, so I think it's really the end of that small era with the TL Flyquest, which were really raising the region. And now my question is, who's next? You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for LCS to come back in 2026. Super excited to see for what Sentinels can put together. Really disappointed with the way Flyquest ended the year. Expecting a lot of changes, expecting a lot of changes in the LCS in general, with 100 Thieves leaving, with APA leaving TL, roster moves all around. Hopefully Jojo Pyun comes back. I don't think he's coming back. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, go send me a message on Twitter. JLuol1 is my handle. If you disagree with any of my thoughts, you can tell me down in the comments, or if you think that I made a lot of sense, tell me down in the comments as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, and goodbye.